Electric cars are great. They're fun to drive, super smooth, and they tend to have far better acceleration capabilities than your average internal combustion engine car. They also, unlike internal combustion engine vehicles, get cleaner as they age, thanks to the way that the electricity grid in most countries around the world just keeps getting cleaner and cleaner. Today, we've got more electric car choice than we've ever had before, and in the next 2 years, we're going to see more and more cars join the market, offering longer range capabilities, quick charging as standard, and of course, the latest in in-car tech. But the one criticism that electric cars still have that does stick, at least in part, is the fact that even today, electric cars tend towards the more expensive end of whichever market they occupy. Sure, it's possible. It is possible to buy a brand new electric car for as little as $28,000 or equivalent in parts of the world, or even less if you're able to claim various tax breaks, credits, or incentives to lower that sticker price, and you're willing to buy a lower end model. It's also fair to say that these lower end models do sit technically bang in the middle of the average new car price for the US and Europe, but they still remain way out of reach for many consumers, some of which really do want to get themselves an electric car. Take, for example, the 10 cheapest cars you can buy in the US right now. One, the Fiesta S, is under $14,000, while even the number 10 slot in terms of affordability, the Mazda 3 4-door Sport, is still under 20 grand. That's a lot less than the cheapest electric car you can buy. Even that vehicle, in the US at least, the Smart for 2 ED, is $23,800 before incentives. And that only has 2 seats. Yeah, I know. I said before incentives, and it is possible to lower those prices using incentives. But for the most part, the majority of incentives, at least in the US, aren't grants offered to you regardless of your socioeconomic status. They're rebates that you use against your tax bill. This means in the course of 1 year, if you buy your car, you need to have a tax liability in that year equal to or greater than the tax credit you're claiming from the car. Essentially, with these credits, you can't claim back tax that you weren't liable to pay in the first place. At this point, it's likely that some of you are watching and screaming, "So buy a used one!" And yes, while it is possible to get some great deals on used electric cars these days, thanks to the fact that there's a huge number of ex-lease electric cars now entering the market, not everyone can or is wanting to buy a used electric car. Aside from the issue of battery degradation, which is certainly an acknowledged issue with the Nissan Leaf and to a lesser extent a few other electric cars on the market, many customers would rather stick with an internal combustion engine vehicle and get a few years of free servicing and comprehensive warranty than they would spending that same amount of money on a used electric car, which probably has much less of a known history. So we're left with a bit of a problem. Electric cars are coming to the market and we're seeing more and more of them get announced, and that is fantastic. But pretty much every automaker out there is focusing on matching internal combustion engine cars and Tesla in terms of range and performance. They're not focusing on affordability. And while advancements in electric car battery tech and charging means today's electric cars are going further and costing less and charging faster than they've ever done before, they're still not at that point where everyone can afford one. What do we need then? Well, no more adverts telling us how fantastic electric cars are. No more high-end aspirational vehicles that nobody but those with incomes in excess of 100 grand a year can afford. No, we need a mass market affordable vehicle with a price tag below 20 grand and a commitment from its automaker that will see a replacement battery program offered in which batteries are not super expensive, just drop in to replace older ones, and that program operates for at least 25 years after the last of those cars are made. Oh, I didn't mention, but electric cars, because they have so few moving parts, can easily outlive internal combustion engine vehicles as long as they have a continued supply of batteries every 10 years or so. For automakers, it's not in their interest to do that though, because, well, they'd rather sell you a new car. How do we get to this point? Well, right now, nobody can do it with current longer, faster, beat or match Tesla mentalities. Heck, even Tesla can't produce a mass market affordable car yet. I know, Model 3, 35 grand, but it's not being made yet, is it? And even then, it's still not affordable for many buyers. Right now, car makers are using improvements in battery tech to make electric cars go further, charge faster, and last longer. But what we also need to do is to see them roll out less tech-obsessed models with long-life batteries that allow smaller ranges, but do so at a much heavily reduced sticker price. Aha, I hear you say, but nobody will buy an electric car with a 100-mile range. And to that, I say one thing. Look at the last 6 years of EV sales. If more affluent buyers were happy with sub 100-mile electric cars, and I'm guessing those with tighter budgets may be too, as long as that car charges quickly. And therein is the key. We already have 150 and 300 kilowatt DC quick charging standards being worked on and deployed around the world. If automakers could figure out a way to produce a small capacity pack that charged quickly without damaging itself, then I would wager that we'd see a lot of sub 20 grand electric cars sell pretty darned well. Because a lot of those lower cost internal combustion engine cars we're seeing, well, they were never designed for long distance trips either. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I missing something? And would you buy a sub 100-mile car if it could recharge in 10 minutes or less? Let me know below. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to support us using the 2 links below, support us on Patreon, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Keep evolving.